half of your ear has been sliced off, dangling against your cheek. A jagged wooden stake has punched straight through your stomach, and your own blood is pooling around your feet in the scorching desert sand. Most people would have died from the shock alone. But you, screaming so loud it tears your throat raw, rip that stake out with your bare hands and cauterize the gaping wound with a red-hot beer can. The 3 men who tossed you into that ravine thought you were dead. They were wrong. Now you're going to drive thick shards of glass into their feet and make them suffer before you end them. In one of Hollywood's most savage survival thrillers, a helpless victim doesn't just survive. She comes back as death itself. Don't blink. The real bloodbath is only getting started. The movie opens with a sleek helicopter touching down beside a remote luxury villa in the middle of the desert. Stepping out is a wealthy businessman named Richard, accompanied by his breathtaking girlfriend Jen. She's there for a secret romantic weekend. She knows he has a wife back home, but she stays because Richard's money promises a glamorous life. The fantasy shatters the next morning. Richard's hunting buddies, Stan and Dimitri, arrive armed with rifles for their annual desert hunting trip. From the second Stan sees Jen, the way he looks at her isn't friendly, it's predatory. That night, the 4 of them drink by the pool. Music blasts through the villa. Tipsy and carefree, Jen starts dancing. When Richard tells her to tone it down, she laughs and pulls Stan into the dance as a joke. For her, it's harmless fun. For Stan, it's an invitation. The next morning, Richard leaves, saying he has business to handle. When Jen walks into the living area, she sees Stan has made breakfast. He smiles, but there's something dark in his eyes. Thinking fast, Jen says she's going to take a shower and hurries back to her bedroom. But as she changes clothes, Stan watches her through the open doorway. He steps inside. Jen tries to brush him off, telling him she prefers tall guys. He's not her type at all. She hopes sarcasm will diffuse him. It doesn't. Stan lunges, Jen screams, and Dimitri appears in the doorway. For a split second, hope flashes in her eyes. Stan glares at Dimitri and mutters, "Can't you see we're busy?" Dimitri hesitates, then silently walks away and cranks up the TV volume, drowning out her cries. When Richard returns, Stan admits what happened and apologizes like it was just a mistake. Richard walks into the bedroom. Jen lies there in shock, shattered. Through tears, she demands he call the helicopter immediately. She wants out. Richard tries to calm her down. With money, he says they can fix this. Fix it. Jen's humiliation turns into fury. She screams that if he doesn't call the chopper, she'll tell his wife everything. The moment she says wife, something snaps in Richard. He slaps her hard. Terrified, Jen bolts from the villa. Barefoot, she runs into the blazing desert, the sand scorching her skin. Behind her, Richard, Stan, and Dimitri grab their weapons and give chase. She reaches the edge of a massive ravine. Breathing hard, Richard pretends to make a call for the helicopter, holding up his phone like he's dialing. Jen dares to believe him. Then, without warning, he shoves her. She plummets into the ravine and crashes onto the dead branches of a tree below. A thick wooden limb impales her straight through the abdomen. Blood pours down her body. Above, Richard coldly tells his friends it was the only way to avoid prison and save his marriage. Convinced she's dead, the 3 men head back to the villa. But down below, Jen's fingers twitch. She's alive. Through unbearable pain, she grabs a lighter from her pocket and sets the dry branches on fire. As the wood burns and cracks, she falls free, but a massive splinter still juts from her stomach. Dragging herself across the rocks, she finds shelter in a nearby cave. In her pocket is peyote, something Richard had given her for fun earlier. Desperate to numb the agony, she takes it. As the drug hits, hallucinations flood her mind. She sees a phoenix rising from ashes. The old Jen is dead. Something else is being born. With trembling hands, she heats a knife in the flames. Then, in one horrifying motion, she rips the wooden stake from her body. Her scream echoes across the desert. To seal the wound, she slices open a beer can, heats the metal until it glows, and presses it directly against her torn flesh. The sickening hiss of burning skin fills the cave, but she doesn't pass out. She survives. The three men return to check her body. All they find is blood. Realizing she's alive, they split up to hunt her down. Near a small desert pond, Dmitri relieves himself when Jen appears silently behind him and grabs his gun. It's empty. They struggle violently. Jen drives her hunting knife straight into his eye. The next morning, Stan finds Dmitri's body floating in the water. From a rocky hilltop, Jen watches through binoculars. Stan tries to escape in a vehicle, but it runs out of gas. While refueling, a gunshot rings out. Jen's bullet rips through his shoulder. He stumbles through the desert and steps directly into a trap. Thick shards of broken glass buried in the sand. They pierce deep into his foot. He screams, yanking the glass free. In blind panic, he fires wildly. One bullet grazes Jen's head, slicing off half her ear so it hangs against her cheek. Blood streams down her face. She doesn't flinch. Stan jumps into the vehicle and floors it, trying to run her down. Jen steadies her aim. One shot. The windshield explodes. The bullet buries itself in his skull. Back at the villa, Richard makes a frantic emergency call before stepping into the shower. He hears something. Grabbing his gun, he steps out, completely naked. Standing in the hallway is Jen, drenched in blood, gripping a shotgun. She pulls the trigger. The blast tears into Richard's stomach. He staggers into a room, desperately wrapping plastic around his wound to hold himself together. Blood floods the sleek white floors of the villa. They chase each other through the house, slipping on their own blood trails. Richard raises his gun. Jen fires again, hitting the exact same wound. His body gives out. He collapses, writhing, then goes still. Silence. Jen walks out of the villa, her body soaked in blood, but alive. Her revenge is complete. In the distance, the sound of a helicopter echoes through the desert sky. The hunt is over. This movie was suggested to me by a subscriber named Anna. What movie should I break down next? Drop your pick in the comments.